If you don't have $1 million in bank and you have a mansion and you have a supercar, dude, you're broke. Broke people always think about passive income because they're lazy. The reason why the rich buy real estate, not for passive income, not for the cash flow. They buy real estate, one, it's a tax.
Yeah. And so you just illustrated why realtors are not worth it. Because, and I know I'm pissing off a lot of realtors right now.
You will. I was so scared, I was shaking. I went home and I opened the door and Law said, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be in the mall. I said, Klon, I can't do this. And here's what she said, Brad. She said, Klon, dude, you gotta man up. It was so bad, dude. It truly hurt our relationship. So bad because of how insecure I was as a person. And almost, dude, I had to pick at that point. I either continue with this woman or it was kind of a done moment. I would have not became the man I am today, Brad, without the wife. And when people say love is powerful, I guess so.
King Khang, it is awesome to meet you in person, man.
Brad, it is truly an honor, man. Truly an honor.
So we are at Family Mastermind. This is like I think this is the third time that I've done sort of the ad hoc recording sessions at this event.
Oh, no.
Yep, bunch of badass people here.
Absolutely.
And there are a bunch of things I want to talk to you about, but you got into real estate and also teach real estate.
I do.
How much of your time is split between teaching versus doing?
So right now, since I have a team, so I got a team of 7 VAs that run my whole entire wholesaling operation. Now, it didn't happen overnight. It took me a long time to get to that point, but we got 7 VAs that are just crushing it. And so I spend about an hour a day on my wholesaling business. So every single day I have a meeting with them, kind of go over, hey, what things are going on? Where are the deals at? So I think, you don't want to be escape from your business. I believe that you always want to have a pulse on your business. You need to know what is going on. You can't just rely on that person that runs it and you don't know anything. What happened if that person get a car accident or they just decided to quit or whatever it is? Now you're vulnerable, like you're at their mercy. So for me, I don't want to be that. So I spend about an hour a day, every single morning. I meet with all of my VAs. We go over everything, what's going on. If they have any questions, they can ask me. After that, I just take off. Typically and then for creating content and teaching, I spent, I would say, a good 3 to 4 hours a day on just creating content. And that's where my heart is. Like, I love creating content. I love teaching. And I guess you guys call it passion.
What do you call it?
I just call it's just another way for me to make money.
All right, well, let's back out. So give me the origin story of how you got into business in the first place and then real estate.
I'll try and make the long story short. So
you can make it as long as you want, man.
Yeah, dude. So I was born and raised in Vietnam. Grew up in a mud hut, and I'm sure a majority of you who watch this probably don't even know what a mud hut is. So when I say I grew up dirt poor, literally, Brad, every single time when there's a big rainstorm, my whole entire family, bro, we go out there and we reclay our house. Wow. I get a brand new room every single time, baby. Sometimes it's smaller, sometimes it's bigger. So I grew up. So back in my country, to go to school, you got to pay for education. It doesn't come for free. Every single time you take a test to get to the next level, so let's say you're in first grade, you take the test to go to second grade, it costs your parents money. So that's why your parents are so tough on kids, because if you don't pass, you're costing them money, right? So because my family was so poor, I got no formal education in my country. So I don't get to go to school. So I can't read or write in Vietnamese. I can only speak the language. And I speak it very well, okay? So don't try to tuck my back and think, oh, this cat don't know, right? Fortunately enough, Brad, I came to America at the age of 9, dropped out of high school when I was 17. And the reason I dropped out, and obviously, as an Asian parents, they want me to grow up to be something, doctor, lawyer, just a typical, but I just knew that school wasn't for me. And I told my parent I'd rather work from the bottom up. I don't care if I'm a janitor. I don't care if I flip burgers. But I have the work ethic, because, dude, I worked since I was 6, Brad. Back in my country, I was out in the rice field, man, with the Chinaman hat, helping my parents out already. When we came to America at the age of 9, every single summer, kids were playing out, having fun, doing the kids thing. Guess what I was doing, dude? I was picking strawberry, raspberry, cucumbers. Dude, school off until school I get like 1 week off just to enjoy my summer. So at a young age, I have that work ethic within me. So I grew up, I say, dude, like, I just can't sit in a classroom and pay attention. Like I just know that I'm not book smart, but I know, dude, that I can work.
Is that why you're up here instead of downstairs at the event, sitting in there listening?
Absolutely. So even at a mastermind, it's really hard to get me sitting in the room and pay attention. Yeah. I love to be in the hallway, but I think the hallway and the dinner table is where the connection is being built.
No question.
And that's where the goal is being dropped. Yeah, so 17, drop out of high school, met my wife at the age of 18. She's also a high school dropout. And at this time, my parents obviously upset with me. Every single time when I see them, they beat me up about, going back to school and get my high school diploma or my GED or whatnot. So I decided to move in with the wifey. At that time, she was living with her mom in a single wide trailer in a mobile home park. So, and there's a little shed out back. So my wife and I moved in there, man. We lived there from the age of 18 all the way until we're 23 in a little shed.
Damn.
And when I say shed, bro, I went back there and measured. It's like a 10 by 10, no windows, no toilet, no nothing.
It's a mobile home park shed. Maybe you think about this differently now than you did then. But how do you, like, dropping out of high school is different than dropping out of college. And for a lot of people, I think. How do you think about sort of following through and finishing something you start versus knowing when it's time to get out because it's just not the right thing?
See, for me, when I watch a movie, if it's like, so here's what I'm different with the wife. The wife, when she started something besides school, when she started a book or she started a movie, she just has to finish it. For me, dude, I watch in. If I don't like it, boom, I just disconnect. And I've never finished a book ever in my life. My whole thing how I learn is either hands-on like this, hiring a mentor where, I can physically see him, or I go through videos, or I go through like audio, but I just don't read. Like I can read things and it won't translate, like it won't make sense for me. But yeah, man, I just knew that school wasn't for me. And I don't know if you call it intuition or not, but I just knew that I couldn't pay attention, and I just knew that I have that work ethic within me that I can work. That's just what I know. And as far as saying commit and getting one thing done, I don't know, man. There's a lot of things where I do it and then I feel like, dude, it's not going to work out, and I just cut it in half and drop it and move on to the next thing.
How long do you give yourself before you say, let's call it a day?
So there's a saying that it takes 10 years for an overnight success. Now, you don't want to have to wait 10 years to realize, dude, I suck at this. This is not the game I want to play. You only have so many 10 years, okay? But if you have stick with something, I believe that people always have the thing say, hey, follow your passion and the money will come. But I can tell you this, dude, that was never been my case. My case was never follow my passion. My case, dude, when I was broke, dude, is how do I make money today? I don't care what it is, as long as it's ethical and it's moral. I'm not scamming, cheating. I'm not, on anyone. I just want to make the money the right way to do it. But always, dude, what do I need to do? So, and that's what I could have been doing Amazon drop shipping. I could have done something totally different, dude. But it just happened to be real estate because everyone said real estate, created the most millionaire. I knew nothing about real estate when we got in it. I have no construction background. My parents just making, $25K a year working at a factory. I have no connections, no experience, and none of that. But I do believe that once you have picked something that you'd be like, you know what, this is what I wanted to do. Somewhat, maybe like it a little bit, but I don't think you're like something if you're not good at it. But to be good at it, you got to play it, just like a game. The more you play, the better you get. I promise you, dude, the more you're just going to like it. Nobody wants to play the game that they suck at. So I think for anything for you to see results, I think you need to commit at least 12 months. So at least a year. You see, so for me now, Brad, I now really focus on fitness. I'm not looking to lose weight. I'm looking to get shredded. And I realized, I'm 45 days in, and I was like, man, and I looked at my results, and I was like, man, I'm making very little progress. And I was like, man, I don't know. I don't know if this is really working out. Then I watch all the video of guys who'd be like, bro, I went from this, your height, your kind of body shape, dude, it took me almost a year. So a lot of time, I think people, what they do is that they overestimate what they can do in a year, but underestimate what they can do in 10 years, 5 years, 3 years. So so when I see that, and then I realized, dude, Khang, once again, you're not patient and you're rushing. You got to trust the process and you got to be patient, because good things don't just happen overnight. Nothing worth having comes easy in life. So when I realized that, Brad, I said, dude, now I'm going to trust the process. It took the cat a year. I can't expect to get that kind of results in 6 months. I can't expect to get that result in 3 months. right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think what keeps people going, Brad, is progress. Like you got to see that you're making progress. Because if you don't, let's just say you go at this for like 3 months and you saw nothing, it's easy to give up. But if you see progress, for example, like losing weight, if you see that every single week that you're losing a pound or 2 pounds, dude, it motivates you a little bit.
It does. I think, the challenge is when that progress starts to slow, it's like you're only seeing little bits.
Correct.
Like you were saying with the gym, right? You're seeing these tiny bits of progress, and at some point that gets deflating because you want
fast
to be
results.
good. Yeah, you want fast results. You want to be good.
Yep.
And everybody wants it to happen faster than
Absolutely.
It happens. So you had a 5-year period where you were living in a shed.
Yep.
With your now girlfriend?
Wife.
Now wife.
Yep.
What was you found real estate at some point, but what was you said you were about to tell me the first big hit for you was when you're 23. So
the first breakthrough, I think we're 19 and a half or 20. The wife, she was working for this Korean guy. He owns a little kiosk in the mall. She was working part-time. The problem with the guy is that he's trying to grow too fast, too quick. And then he's going to go bankrupt. He's going to lose everything. So he approached the wife. He said, hey, do you guys want to buy over the kiosk? At that time, Brad, our main goal was like, dude, we need to save our money so we can buy a house to get out of the shed. That was like our main goal at that time. We didn't think about businesses or nothing like that. Like unlike Gary Vee, Brad, I don't have the entrepreneur mind spirits, dude. I wasn't flipping baseball card. I wasn't mowing yard and hiring other people to mow yard. Like as a kid, growing up, seeing my parents just working regular jobs. But that opportunity came and the wife took it because she knows the in and out of the business. And for those of you who's watching this, and I think the best way for you to really learn is work for someone, not for a big corporation, but for a mom and pop, small, because then they will teach you everything. But you got to be the best. She was the best. Like she was making the guy so much money, Brad, that he wants to make her the manager. But guess what, dude? The wife, she's a freaking badass. You know what she said? She said, Steve, I either own this or I'm just going to work as a regular employee. She won't manage for him. Because if she managed for him, he could have taken off and then start another one. Yeah. But for her, she wants something of her own. And she was trying to, at that time, Brad, we were so confused with our life. I was making $8.50 an hour, working at a factory, and the wife was trying to bounce back, going to get her beauty degree or whatever. She wants to do hair, makeup, whatever it is. And she didn't want to be a manager to take away because she knows how much time and effort that she has to put in. Because listen, you want to get paid more? Put more in. That's all it is. Like you can't get paid more by putting in minimum amount. So she knew that he has high expectation. And she didn't want the high expectation just to be a manager. Yeah. So she's like, I either own this or I'm continue doing what I regularly do as part-time. So the cat said, dude, I'm going to sell it over to you. At that time, Brad, we had about $15,000 saved in the bank. Okay?
Crazy. That's a ballsy move for an employee.
Oh, Brad, so check this out. I was making $8.50 an hour. The wife was working part-time, same minimum wage. Within a year and a half, bro, I think a year and a half or possibly 2, dude, we saved $15,000. That's why I don't believe people who said, Khang, I'm broke. I got no money. Dude, the reason why is because you overspent. Yeah. The wife and I, Brad, our monthly budget was $50 to spend. We got no bills.
In fairness, do you think people should live in a shed?
No, absolutely not. But I think people should freaking live below their means, dude. Yeah. Like, don't go rent a nice apartment. Yeah. Right? Dude, don't wear designer clothes. Like, shop at Ross, shop at TJ Maxx. Right? Shop cheap, bro. Like, I believe, dude, you can still look good buying cheap clothes, man. Yeah. So that's why I always try to say, Brad, like, don't try to be a bowler when you got no dollar, baby. Dude, because I see so many people flex the designer. But most of the people who wear designer, dude, I can almost guarantee you, most of those are broke.
Dude, it's most of the world, but it's certainly American culture. Like it's certainly the internet and Insta culture.
Absolutely.
It's, hey, look at me, I'm doing well. And one of the things that I love about owning Easy Pay Direct is that I see the numbers on the back end. Yeah. So I know what people are making and I understand their business models. Like I know if they have a good margin or a bad margin. And it is, it's unfortunate how many people end up creating, relatively sizable businesses, multi-million-dollar or 8-figure businesses with no margin. Yep. They're not taking anything home. Yep. And then they spend it on a bunch of dumb shit. And they're like, hey, look at me in my Lambo. Yep. And look at me in my big ass watch. Yep. And they're not making any money anyway.
Dude, I agree. And so for those of you who watch this, so Brad knows how much I make. So the thing is, Brad, people think that, once you hit that $1 million mark, that you get to buy the mansions, you get to buy the Rari. You absolutely don't, bro. Like, you don't. The $1 million, like back then, it was huge, but today, it's still a lot, but it's not as much as when it used to be. Yeah. To me, when you're ready for the supercar, when you're ready for the mansion, bro, you got to be doing at least, I would say, close to $3 to $5 million plus a year, and you got to net quite a bit. Mm-hmm. So for me, when I look at like, okay, I'm a millionaire, dude, I need to see you have $1 million in the bank before I see you have a supercar.
Yeah.
So if you don't have $1 million in the bank and you have a mansion and you have a supercar, dude, you're broke. You tell me that you do $1 million or $2 million a year, bro, you're broke. When I made that millions and I have X amount in the bank versus someone who made the same and they have all the nice things, how can you have the money in the bank when we're making the same thing but different lifestyle? So for example, Lon and I don't live in a mansion. We still live in the exact same house we bought 15 years ago. Because you guys got to understand this. Let's just say you make $1 million that year. 40% goes to Uncle Sam. Boom, that goes for $400,000. All right? Now you're out buying the Lambo, you're out buying the mansion, you're out buying all the designer clothes, all the stupid shit. How much do you think you really have left? Maybe you'll be able to save maybe 100 grand or so in the bank. Maybe. Come on, do you make $1 million and you can only save 100K? Come on, man. Shit, bro. So for Lon and I, see, because if you were smart, see, the goal is not to look rich, but to get rich. And that's what I tell people, because if you were smart with your money, you make that 1,000. Instead of paying Uncle Sam 400K, you would have took that 400,000 and go buy real estate. So when you go and buy an investment property, how do you have extra cash to show off? You don't, because you need, dude, and then you need to stack away some money for reserve. I think you should stack away at least 20% or so for reserve. And people are like, well, Khang, why do you have so much cash in the bank and not enough real estate? It's because, bro, the more real estate you own, bro, you need to have reserve. Because not every day is a good day. Business is not always good. There will be times, bro, where boom, a storm hits you. Business is not good as it used to be. So how do you stay afloat? Reserve, my friend.
Yeah. Well, I think you're right. And I think that the most important thing is for people to have some sort of framework that they're following, right?
Absolutely.
Have a rule set that is, hey, I'm going to keep X percentage in reserve, or I'm going to buy the thing once I get to Y mark, right?
I agree.
So when I was like grinding, I had a rule that I wouldn't spend more than 5% of my monthly revenue on a car.
Okay.
And by the time, there was no car that I wanted. If you're making 100 grand a year, and so, 9 grand a month, 5% on the car is $500 or whatever, right? And I didn't care to spend money on a car at all. And so I was like, until I can get something dope and my revenue is up to the point where 5% is a dope car, I'm not going to fuck with it at all. So I didn't buy a car and I didn't get any nice things until I was well past that mark. And I think that just having those rules is important. So you don't find yourself in the trap of being like, look at me online, I'm important.
Yep. Brett, I totally agree with you. And like, people always think like that Khang, you make all this money, what's the point? You're going to die. You're not going to take anything away. But it's not about being cheap. It's you need to understand money. A lot of you, you're not financially smart, and that's why you're broke. That's why you are where you are, because of who you are and how you manage and spend your money. You see, if you want to spend $100,000 a month on stupid shit, you can't. You just need to make $1 million a month first. So that's how Lon and I operate since we were broke. And that's how we're able to save and actually have money to invest in ourselves and in our business. We only spent between 10, I would say 15% of what we make. So if you want to make that's why, dude, if you want to spend $100,000 a month, there's nothing wrong with that. You can spend on whatever stupid shit you want. You want designer clothes? Go buy it.
Yeah.
But if you make $1 million, you spend 10%, that's nothing, right? So my whole thing is, dude, spend 10, 15% of what you make. And then you should be good.
Yeah, I love that. I think that the percentage, the other thing is that if you're spending based on a percentage of what you make, as you make more, that percentage becomes less significant.
Correct.
Like, if you go from 100 grand a month to 200 grand a month, and you're at the 10% mark, you start running into bigger numbers.
Correct.
Where it's like you can spend more and it really doesn't impact you much.
Correct.
And then you can keep doing whatever you're going to do. But if you get your order of operations off, it'll fuck you up. Have you ever heard that Big Boy song, Order of Operations?
No.
Big Boy is the counterpart to Outkast. Big Boy and Andre 3000 make Outkast. That's a great song.
Oh, okay. I got to check it out.
Yeah, he dropped it like last year. It's called Order of Operations.
Okay.
And he's basically rapping about this shit. He's rapping about people in lower income areas trying to flex.
Right.
And he's like, nah, man. He's like, go buy real estate. He's like, go stack your chips right. Great track.
Dude,
anyway, so tell me you get to what happens. You said you'd put away about 15 grand.
Yep. So we bought over the kiosk. And once again, long story short, like kiosk, you know, so a lot of people see me online now, Brad, that they think like I'm always been an outgoing guy. No, I grew up, you know, when I was going to high school, I was going through like a very distressed moment of my life. And I was always been a very shy, a very insecure guy. I'll be very talkative around friends and family. But when I go on a public and strange, dude, I would like my palms get sweaty. Like I get freaking anxiety.
Does that still happen now?
No, not anymore. But it took me years. It's the same thing. It takes years to break the habit and form something new.
Yeah.
Right. And the one thing I gotta say, Brad, number one is I gotta say thank God, because if it weren't without God, I wouldn't be here doing what I do today, man. There were so many times where I thought that I would have lost it all and could never bounce back. But dude, every single dark days of my life, bro, God was always there. And number two, now I don't want to be religious or anything, right? But number two is the wifey, bro. I would have not became the man I am today, Brad, without the wifey. She's the one who really pushes me, bro, to get out of my shell, to get out of my comfort zone, to become who I am today. And the person I am today, Brad, is who I always bury deep down within me. Because I always been so shy, so insecure, and afraid of what people look at me and how they perceive me and all of that. But I love talking to people. Like when I'm around with friends and family, you know, you put music on, I'll do karaoke and all that. But when I'm out in public, dude, I just can't talk. And I hated that person. And the breakthrough for me was when we bought over the kiosk, man, dude. When we bought over the kiosk, we spent all the 15K already. And then we started at zero in the bank. Lon and I didn't care because we didn't have big expense. We're living in a shed, paying her mom $400 a month. We're driving a beat up Honda, right? So we didn't have credit card debt, like nothing. So we were okay with going back to zero. And then I remember Lon's like, Khang, we have no money for employee. And we didn't know hire employee at the time. We're like, dude, let's do this on our own. But she's like, Khang, I can't do this by myself. I need your help. So I was working 5 o'clock in the morning, right, at a factory. So she would come in, work at the mall. The mall would open 9 a.m., close at like 10 p.m. or so. So she can't do that every day, 7 days a week. But anyways, like I remember Lon said, hey, Khang, can you come in after work to help me out? And I said, Lon, you know I don't go to the mall. You know how many people's in the mall, Lon? I can't do it. So she begged me. She said, Khang. She cried. She begged me. I said, fuck it. I went and I sucked up, Brad. I drove in. I remember I opened the kiosk. Dude, I was nervous as hell. And dude, there's really no one in the mall, but I was already nervous.
Just to be around all the people?
Just to be around this, yeah. And I saw this one lady walk by, and my whole thing is product doesn't sell itself. You have to sell the product.
Yep.
Unless you're Nike. Fuck, right? But we're not Nike.
But that took a long time too.
Yeah, so I saw this woman walks by, and I said, dude, I said, excuse me, would you like to get your hair done? And she's like, no. Brad, I've never got an objection. I never asked. So I never have objections. That's like my first no. My face turned freaking red, as dark as I am, but it's red. And tears were coming in. Like I couldn't even hold a tear in, Brad. I was so scared. I was shaking. I grabbed the keys. I didn't even close the kiosk. I was driving home. Looking back now, Brad, I was crying and whining. I was crying like a little bitch in the car. I was driving home, and I went home and I opened the door, and Lon's like, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be in the mall. I said, Klon, I can't do this. And we cry. And here's what she said, Brad. She said, Khang, dude, you got to man up. Because you can't be who you are right now, bro, for us to achieve the goal we want. So the only way for us to achieve the goal we want, you must become a different man. The man that I want you to be. The man that I hope you to be. Man, that's give me a goosebump. Okay. Anyway, we cry, bro. And then at that moment, Brad, the way that I am, bro, it was so bad, dude. It truly hurt our relationship so bad because of how insecure I was as a person. And almost, dude, I had to pick at that point. I either continue with this woman or it was kind of a done moment. It's not because she wanted to make a lot of money, because it was just who I am, man. I didn't want to go anywhere. I was just trapping myself, go home, play a little game and trap myself in a box. There was time where I was trying to cover my face because I didn't want her to see me. It was just a really weird moment, man. But I said, dude, this is the girl that I want to be with. So I suck it up. And day by day, dude, it's just one day at a time, bro. It's almost like you're going to the gym, you're trying to build that booty, bro. And you're stacking one piece of paper at a time, one piece of paper at a time. Dude, it doesn't seem like it's growing. But after 6 months, Brad, I was a freaking monster. Dude, I was a better salesman than she was. And I was just crushing it.
All right, so I love this. So there are so many good things about this. I think that first, did you have the sense of self-awareness at that moment that you needed to be a different person? Because sometimes, hindsight's 20/20. You can look back at the stuff and tell the narrative and tell the story. But it sounds like you had a moment that was distinct where your wife called you on it and was like, look, you're not going to get us to where we need to go if you stay here. You have to become something else. Yeah. So first, were you aware of that? And second, what were the steps that you took deliberately to change that?
Yeah. Man, for me, Brad, I just knew that I had to pick. And I knew what was more important to me. And that was to be with her. And when people say love is powerful, I guess so. I was just taking it one day at a time. I was like, hey, let's just go in there. I'm just going to ask 3 people. And then it was 4 people. And it was this. And it hurts. Every single time when there was a no, it hurts. It hurts. But I have to remind myself, same thing with what she said. And I wanted a better life, man. I want to be the man where my wife can depend on. That she can fall on. That she can fall back onto. That she can depend on that, dude, this guy's going to take care of me. And I wanted to be that man. I grew up, dude, seeing my dad always take care of my mom. Dude, family was always first in my dad. If there was a last bowl of rice, he would give it to my dad, or he would give it to my mom or us, and rather starve to death. And that was kind of my role model. And I wanted to be that man for this woman. And then it was just one day. It's just one day at a time. It's just getting hard. And it becomes easier and easier and easier. But I also believe that people say feel good on the inside and you feel good on the outside. For me, it was different, Brad. And I believe that when people say that to you, they're just trying to be nice to you. For you to really, really, truly love yourself, I do believe that you got to take care of your outside, man. Like whether you want to lose weight. So for me, I have really big acne problem. So I started to go see dermatologists. I didn't want to go see them before because I just don't want to see people.
Sure.
So I started to take those kind of steps to improve my physical outer appearance so I can start feeling good about my inside as well. And it's just one day at a time, man. And it's just months after months after months after months goes by.
Yeah, I really firmly believe that action is what's going to change your habits, your behaviors, your future. And everything becomes easier if you just take more action. I agree. And it can even be the wrong action, but as long as you have momentum and you start moving, you're going to change. But without the action, you're not.
I agree. And the thing is, I think for a person to change, Brad, you must be a place where you're either unhappy or unsatisfied. Listen, nobody will change if they're already satisfied with where they're at. Nobody will change if they're already happy with where they're at. You can be happy but unsatisfied, which means you're happy with what God has already given you, but you know that you have more potential. So you're trying to make changes because changes is hard. For a new habit to form, it takes 30 days of consistency, doing the same thing again and again for 30 days. Most people can't commit 30 days. Like I tell people, hey, all you need to do is go drive for dollars. Yeah. Pick an old neighborhood, spend 2 to 3 hours a day. That's all you need to do. For the next 30 days, all you need to do every single day, just collect 20 houses. Within a month, you have 600 houses. Skip trace those or send them, direct mail, marketing, postcard, whatever it is, call them up and make offer. And if you can just do that in 30 days, you have 600 houses. Worst case, after 2 months, you have about 1,200 houses. You should have a deal that you can make $25,000 on. But nobody would do it.
Yeah. I love it. So let's get to real estate, but I think that the idea of creating habits.
Yep.
I don't know I've heard the 30-day mark. I've heard 21 days. Whatever it is. What I've noticed going through a whole bunch of different waves of changing behaviors and habits is that in order to build a new habit, you have to break old ones. and you're going to come up against violating these old rules that you had. But the first time you break an old habit, you notice it and it sucks and it hurts. The next time you get to that same habit that you're running into, it sucks a little less, right? And then it sucks a little less. But you have all these different moments that you have to control as you're trying to establish a new pattern.
I agree.
And so those reps matter. So I appreciate that. So the kiosk is your training ground. You're learning sales in the kiosk, but you're also learning self-worth, self-awareness. How long did you do the kiosk and how did you get to real estate?
Yeah, so we started the kiosk. So I quit my JO to B. So I was, dude, at this time, even the kiosk, you know, after like 2-3 years, we're making over 6-figure at the kiosk. I was still working at the factory. Like my wife, Brad, she's on another level of conservative. Like she want to make sure that, dude, our house is almost paid off. All of our cars paid off before I quit. Because she knew that job was security. Business goes up and down. But she just want to make sure that she has that peace of mind. I had to work there all the way. I think I quit when I was 27. And that's when we merged into real estate. Our house is pretty much paid off. And we don't own any debt. And she said, Khang, it's time for you to go. It's time for us to go on a new venture. And dude, honestly, Brad, at 27, car was paid off, house is almost paid off, own no debt, have a couple $100,000 sitting in the bank. At that time, Brad, I thought I was done with life. I was like, because this is what we all work for. Because the American dreams, my mom always tell me, you know, owe no debts, pay off your car, pay off your house, you get some income coming in, got some money saved, you're good. And to my parents, Brad, anyone who's make 50 to 100,000 is a baller. Like to them, that's a year. I'm talking about a year, not a month. To them, you're a baller. So when I told them that I quit the JOB, I finally make, after working there for 6 or 8 years, I make $30,000 a year. My mom and dad were making $25K a year. So when I told them I quit, they freak out. They told me that I make they told me that it was a dumb mistake. They told me about the 401k benefit. They told me about all this thing, the Medicare, you're getting taken care of, all that crap. And I was making $5,000 more than they do. So they're like, dude, whoa. If I make, for them, they'll be like, I'll never quit, right? So when I told my parents that, they obviously wasn't happy with my choices. And they didn't know that my goal was not to retire with the 401k. Our goal was like, dude, how can we retire where we have at least, at the time, 100K coming in from passive income? Like that's our goal when we're 65. With inflation, for a lot of people, I believe that with the 401k, dude, I see a lot of them now retire, but still do Uber just to make some income. Dude, the Social Security, the 401k, it's just not enough for you, man, with inflation to give you a comfortable life. Can you travel every other month if you want to? If you, at 65, 70, if you want to sit in first class, could you really afford it? Could you stay at the best hotel you want to? You can't with that kind of money.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, I think also, your standards consistently, for most people, your standards change as you make more money, right? You want to explore, experience. And there's a lot in the world that you can explore and check out.
Sure.
You find real estate. How do you run into it? So like we're sitting at, because for context, Family Mastermind is this group of real estate educators. And it is everybody. It's anybody that sells real estate education at all is a part of the group in some capacity. From like the OGs, Ron LeGrand is downstairs to, Pace Morby is here. It's everybody. Did you buy a course from somebody? How'd you get into real estate?
Oh my God, dude, it's such a funny story. So at 27, at this time, I thought life was good, but the wife, she has a depressed moment. She didn't lock herself, but she was in the house for a couple days, didn't want to be outside. She was depressed. Anyways, I was driving home one day and I went home and I said, Lon, like, dude, like go outside. Well, what's going on? Like, why are you so sad? I mean, we made it, Lon. This is what we've been working all this time and making all these sacrifices for. She's like, I don't know what it is, but I am not happy because she wanted more. Brad, she wanted to be a millionaire. She wanted to make millions of dollars a year. She don't want to save to $1 million and then until we retire at 65 with the rate that we're going. But her mind said that she can't do it. And then she came across a book. It's the movie The Secret. And that, Brad, unlocked everything. It lets you have the belief, dude, you can have anything in this world. What Napoleon Hill said, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Bob Proctor was her coach. She paid $7,000 to get a mindset coach. And he said, if you can hold it in here, like if you can hold the vision long enough in here where it's so clear, it's so vivid of the life, the income, the money, the houses you want, you can eventually hold it in here. And dude, she was like, Brad, she went through that. And then we got exposed to Napoleon Hill. I started to rethink and grow rich. That changed my life. I came home one day, out of nowhere, Brad. She said, Khang, we're going to risk it all. We're going to get into real estate. You know what I said to her? I said, come on, man, shit, bro. No, that's exactly what I said. So Lon and I, we talked to each other like, dude. I said, come on, man, shit, bro. I said, Lon, really? You would risk all this that we have built over the past 10 plus years? She said, yeah, yep. I said, okay. I laughed at her. She said, Khang, we're going to be a millionaire. I laughed at her, Brad. I laughed at her. It was not a taint. Like, to me, it's impossible. It's impossible. And she said, but she's not talking about 10 years time frame. She said, Khang, I want to be a millionaire soon. That's what she said. And I laughed at her. And she said, fuck you, Khang. And I said, okay. And then I said, let's do it. Anyways, so for me, man, my whole entire life, and people ask me all the time, like, Khang, why? People say, dude, I think my purpose on this life is to make her dreams come true. Whatever she wants to do, Brad, I'm all for it. I'm all in, and I want to be the man that can help make that vision, that dream of her, come true. And first, dude, it was $1,000 diamond ring. Then it's $5,000. Then it's $10,000. So, dude, she keep on increasing the price. I got to increase my, becoming the next level of a man.
That's great, man. There's the commitment to getting better and growing as a human is an interesting thing to watch in people, because there are a lot of people that, and this is the same thing with money or revenue or business or whatever, people hit plateaus. And so they kind of they find something like that fuels them. And then they get to a certain place and they get complacent or they feel like they've got it already and it's locked down and they stop growing. I was talking to, do you know Trevor Mock?
I don't.
So Trevor owns carrot.com.
Oh, okay. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I know Trevor. Yep.
Yeah. So Carrot's a platform for real estate investors and now home service professionals also. But we were in the sauna today and we were talking about sort of plateaus in business. And he said, one option is that you can dial back the business and have it be sort of more of a solopreneurship where you're running it and you're just using it for cash flow. And you accept the fact that it's not growing very much. And he said, look, there's nothing wrong with that. And we kind of paused. And I was like, yeah, I can't do that shit though, man. Yeah. I was like, I can't do that shit. And I was like, the people that truly build a life around that, I love when people deliberately use business as a vehicle to just create cash flow for their lifestyle. Right. And I believe that life is about growth, period. And if you aren't growing, there's attrition and you are dying. And I know that it sounds cliche, but really, if you're stagnant, happiness comes from growth, from progress, from getting better. And so the business side of things, I'm always looking at how do we keep doing it. But when I find myself in a mode of, I haven't been reading personal development stuff, I haven't been focusing on building new habits and patterns, I feel like shit. I'm like, what am I doing? So how deep did you go into that, and how much has that changed from the initial real estate venture to today? Are you still looking for the personal development books right now? Does it go in waves for you? How much energy do you spend on it? Yeah, I think for me it does go on waves. So, and Brad, dude, you just hit everything right on point. If you're not growing, you're truly dying in business, in life, and all of that. Like, people think about, when I retire, I just sit on the beach. Dude, it's become so boring where you'd be like, dude, like what's the point of living anymore? Because for me, Brad, every day that I'm the most happiest is when I felt productive. So for me, Lon and for me to enjoy my vacation, I gotta put in work and I gotta make money. So for me, it's the measure of my growth is the amount of money that I make, the progress. So people can say whatever it is they want. You can call me materialistic, you call me whatever it is.
So for me, every day, I'm happy the most, bro, is if I am productive, doing something towards my business, growing it, scaling it to the next level. Now I'm happy with where I'm at, but I want to keep on growing that thing because I know that if I don't, I'm just going to feel empty inside.
Well, the thing is, I mean, money is not the only metric, but there's no question that it is a metric of how successful you are in the game of business.
Yep.
And so there are definitely people that we launched this by talking about the materialistic people that felt like they needed to flaunt to feel good about themselves. But any way you want to slice it, you don't have a successful business without money.
Absolutely.
So I think it's a fun yardstick. And as you go through life and business and development, I think it's a fun game to play. Yeah.
There's a lot of ways to say it to make it sound good on social media. Like, oh man, I'm this person that I'm so, like someone asked me at CG, he's like, Khang, so what is your why? What is your purpose on this life?
What's CG?
Collective Genius.
Oh, got it.
Run by Medley.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's all mostly just real estate investors. A little bit kind of social media education in there.
Yeah,
but
Jason's
very little.
floating around here, I think, today.
Medley is a beast himself.
Yeah, he is.
But some cat in there asked me about, what's your why? What's your purpose on this earth? Blah, 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 blah. I mean, listen, you can give a very sad, sober story saying, hey, I want to go to Egypt, whatever the country and build houses for kids. Dude, honestly, bro. Like, I believe, so for me, dude, I'm happy majority of the time. So for me, dude, I don't know about purpose. I don't know about my why. I just know that, bro, I want to make money. I want to travel with the wife and I want to keep her happy. That's it. So you can call me materialistic. She wants to buy jewelry. Dude, I got to make more money to, whatever it is you want to call it. But I know that as long as whatever it is that I'm doing, if I'm happy, then why try to find my purpose or whatever it is that you guys call? Like I don't need to go, like, yes, we do, we donate and I believe in tithing and all that, right? But people can say, oh yeah, I feel so great and go build this house for these orphanage kids. Yes, it feels great. But it also feels great when I'm driving in the baby Rari and and all that as well. So.
Yep. Yeah.
I just want to keep it real.
I feel you, man. I also think that I've talked about this quite a bit, but I also think that most people don't know what their life purpose is. Most people, even if they say they do, a lot of the time it's contrived and they've come up with some answer because they feel like they're supposed to. It's sort of like having core values in the company. Most people put the values on the wall and they're like, yeah, they're over there.
I see.
Values are on the wall.
Yeah.
But they're not actually entrenched in what they're doing. It's not actually how they live or what they're about. But back to the comment before, action is what gets you to the outcome.
I agree.
And whether or not this is some, divine, huge vision that you have for life that's pulling you because you're passionate about it or not, you still need to take action. So I like the idea of like, yeah, I don't fucking care. I just need to get more money. Like, let's just keep moving.
Just keep moving, dude.
So, all right. So real estate, did you get into, I seem to remember reading something about wholesaling and flipping.
Yep.
Have you done both? And why did you pick one versus the other?
Yep. So I got into real estate when at the age of 27. So we got in because the wife came across this book called How Come That Idiot is Rich? And I'm not. We're like, shit, man, we're the idiots, so I want to be rich. Anyway, she picked up that book and teach you everything. It talks about everything about real estate. Creative financing, sub 2, like fix and flip, wholesale, rental property, passive income, active, like all of that. We paid $7,000, the wife did. She paid $7,000 for 3-day seminars. And all they teach us was to go on Craigslist and call. After 6 months, Brad, I was like, dude, like I felt like I really need a hands-on mentor. Like I have no problem taking action. Like I'm a freaking action taker. When I hear an idea, Brad, like even at 12 at night, I want to jump on my laptop and start working already. Like I don't care what time it is. When I think of something, I just want to do it right away. I just can't wait to wake up and to get it done. So I'm not a procrastinator. But the problem with me is I'm more of a visual, hands-on learner. So after 6 months, I'll be like, dude, we need to get a mentor. And we met our mentor at that event. So it's 3 days. He came in on the 3rd day. It was actually in Florida, but it was in Fort Lauderdale. So he came in nowhere. He's a young cat. We're the same age. And he went in there and did his whole spiel. And I said, dude, this guy's a beast. And the wife said, Khang, you need to get this dude to be our mentor. And you're not going to leave Florida if he doesn't mentor you. So on a break time, I came up and I just went up straight up to him, bro. I just knew, bro. I've been in business, bro. And I grew up in the street. Dude, I knew that money talk, bullshit walk. I don't go up there and say, dude, can you help me? No, bro. I should say, hey, Mike, how much would it cost to train me? Give me a price. Name me a price, bro. And if I can make it work, dude, let's go do this. Because Brad, for me, at that moment, Brad, the reason why I'm willing to pay whatever the amount is because I was sick and tired of trying to figure it out myself. I don't want to see the next 6 months of my life to be like the last. I don't want to spend the next 6 months just trying to figure this out. I don't want to spend the next year making the same as what I make last year. I'm willing to take the risk, make the investment, and dude, I want to start closing deal already, baby. So for me, Brad, see, I believe the difference between the winner and the loser, successful and non-successful, is actually very simple. It's here. Because your thoughts, Brad, we talk about action, but your thoughts dictate your action.
Yeah.
Your action dictates your results. If you're good with your money, dude, your thoughts about money, it's good. You're going to save, you're going to invest first, right? So for me, Brad, I say, dude, if every month goes by that I don't know how to make 10K, 20K, that's how much I'm losing. 6 months go by, time 10K, dude, that's 60K I'm losing. So why not pay this cat one time so I can start making that 60K, 70K, 80K, 100K a month? So anyway, I paid him amount, flew him out for 3 days. He showed me everything about real estate. Sometimes you guys just don't understand that maybe you're doing shit, but you're doing the wrong shit.
Yeah.
Dude, so like you think you're working, but dude, you might be doing the wrong shit. And the things, Brad, I also tell my followers this, man. It's not how hard you work, man. It's what you do for work. And if you guys just sit back and think about that a little bit, it's not how hard you work. I used to work 13, 14 hours a day, but I make way less than what I do now. And I put less effort in because it's what I do for work. You can choose to flip a burger and make 25K a year, or flip a piece of paper and make 25K a month. See?
Yep.
It's a different in what you do for work.
Yep. So why did you pick wholesaling versus any other type of real estate?
Sure. So I started out as fix and flip. My mentor does a lot of fix and flip in Hagerstown. So we started out fix and flip because we got capital and all that. But 4.5 years in, Brad, I almost lost everything and went bankrupt. And that, Brad, was the darkest moment of my life.
Buying houses and flipping them.
Buy, fix, and actually flipping them.
Yeah.
I did that for 4.5 years.
Got it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you have to put money into the house.
Correct.
And so
you got to deal with contractor,
you're putting it on the line.
The city, permit.
Yep.
And typically, a lot of you don't understand, like on HGTV, they make it look sexy. But do you know where they really make their actual money? It's from the TV show. They don't care if they lose 100K, 200K on that house, but they make it look so damn entertaining, right? But for you, you can't afford to lose 200K.
Yeah.
So for me, Brad, that was the darkest moment of my life. And the reason why, if I was solo, Brad, and I had to go and dig myself out of the hole, we're about to go bankrupt and lose everything. I'm talking about everything that Law and I has worked so hard and built for. And it was the darkest moment of my life, Brad, because it was hard for me to how can I tell this woman that believe in me and depend on me to say, bro, Lon, I fucked up.
Yeah.
I'm about to lose everything. So it was so hard for me to bear. And when people say depression, Brad, never in my life I've experienced that. But that moment, I felt it for 3 days, dude, and it was freaking super dark. Anyways, I got down on my knees, I prayed to God, and somehow, dude, God answered. Long story short, I got this expired listing. For those of you who don't know what expired listing is, it's someone who tried to sell their house, and for whatever reason they can't sell it, so they took it off the market. I send this lady a letter, a bunch of letters in that area. This one lady calls me, and she said, hey, anyway, we negotiated back and forth. It took us about 4 days or so. I met her at McDonald's. Nothing fancy. I don't have an office space. I was still working on my house. Met her at McDonald's, signed a contract, a purchase and sale contract. I locked that property up on a contract for 30 days. I found buyers in 2 days. We closed in 15 days. I made $28,000, Brad, in 15 days. And this is what people call wholesaling. And I was hooked. Yeah. I said, wait a second. It cost me $150, which is the earnest money deposit, to lock that property in a contract and then sell the contract and make $28K in 15 days. I said, Khang, dude, what if you do this 1 a month, 2 a month? And that's what I did. I shut down my fix and flip operation. I just knew wholesaling was the game I want to play. There was just very little amount of risk, very little amount of capital. I wholesale, took all my money, wrap up my fix and flip, Now we're going all into wholesaling, and I keep my business, Brad, simple. And I know simple is boring, but boring is what makes you money. So we just wholesale, take the wholesale money, and buy rental property. That's it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Wholesaling is one of the most accessible ways to get into real estate.
Absolutely.
Also, it's I like that you said both, because wholesaling is also transactional.
Correct.
So you're making big chunks of cash.
Correct.
And sometimes they're real big and sometimes they're little. You
Correct.
make a few grand, but like you are, like you said, you're flipping the contract.
Right.
But then you're pushing all that money back into real estate, a stored value that you're trying to cash flow on. Is that the game?
Yeah. So the whole thing with like cash flow, passive income, Brad, I think most people are confused because of everybody, the way that they talk on social media. Listen, everybody has an agenda. Every entrepreneur, business owner that I know has a motive. They have a motive to everything they do, bro. Like, dude, they don't become successful just because they want to do shit. Every move that they make, bro, is calculated. The reason they make that move, bro, is because they know somehow it's going to benefit them. Everyone has a motive. You need to understand that.
Yeah.
Most people go into the real world and be like, oh man, I thought everybody's going to help me. Dude, no, your parents, bro. Go back to your parents, bro.
Yeah.
But no stranger is going to help you. Like, everyone has a motive to whatever that they're doing, whatever it is that they're saying. Yeah. Even me right now, okay? So people always talk about, passive income, because they want to push you a certain way. But let me tell you this. The reason why the rich buy real estate, not for passive income, not for the cash flow. They buy real estate, one, it's a tax write-off.
Yeah.
So they don't have to pay 40 to 50% Uncle Sam. Once again, if you make $1 million, instead of paying Uncle Sam $400K, if you live in California, you would have to pay $500,000. Instead of paying that, you take that and you go buy real estate. But that piece of real estate, you know how much it pays you a month? If you're lucky, $500 a month in passive income. How do you think that's going to change your life?
It's also not fucking passive.
It's not.
The idea of it being passive is a little bit of a joke. There's always energy that goes into it.
Absolutely, Brad. And the thing is, dude, the broke people always think about passive income because they're lazy. Dude, it's because they're lazy. They don't want to build a business. Listen, you're not going to get rich by working for someone else. Period. Like, you can, now obviously there is an exception, but who do you know? Personally, who do you know that actually worked for someone and got rich, became a millionaire, make millions of dollars a year? I don't know about you, but I don't know anybody.
Yeah. I mean, the exception to that rule obviously are like, C-suite people at big companies, or execs at big companies, shit like that.
But let's just be real. Like,
yeah, the idea is a good one.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So if you want to get rich, dude, the only way is you got to have built your own business. Okay? And the thing is, let's go back to the whole passive income. Once again, you take your $400K, you park in that piece of real estate, best pays you $500. Ain't going to change your life. You know how many of those rentals you have to own to get to the point where you're actually making $10,000, $20,000? And you don't just make $10,000 to $20,000. What if there's maintenance? What if there's repair that comes up? Like, I know the game because I have 14 rentals. Dude, I've been playing the game for 12 years to realize that all these people are talking me the wrong shit. So number one is you got to get rich first, which means to me, you got to get to the point where I don't care what business you want to build, but you got to get to the point where your business is actually making you $20,000 a month. And I'm talking about take home. I'm not talking about revenue and taking home $5K. You got to get to the point where your wholesaling business or your Amazon, whatever business you're in, make $20,000 net a month. That, to me, Brad, is when you're ready to buy rental property. Because now you're making $240,000 a year. Once again, if you don't park it in somewhere, and real estate is the best tax write-off, and it's the best place for you to park your money to hedge against inflation. And what it is you need to understand that the rental game, man, is the long-term game. You're not going to get rich within 1 or 2 years, which means when I say rich, it means you're not going to get to the point where you're making $20,000 a month in passive income within 1 or 2 years. But in today's world, man, with technologies, AI, software, all kinds of shit, you can make $20,000 a month within a year or two by building a business. By building a business. Like, I've seen it within my own eyes. Like, you can make $20,000 a month by building a business. That's how you get rich.
Tell me about I want to move to social in a minute, social media stuff, but tell me about the mechanics of how you do wholesaling financially. Yep. How does the transaction itself work?
Yep.
Who's got the money? Do you do a dual close? Is it one close? How does that work in your world?
Yep. So what happened is obviously we spend about, I would say right now, 10 to 15,000 a month in marketing. So we do a majority cold call, SMS, a little bit of direct mail, which means we send them letters or postcard. Once they call us, it could be an inbound or outbound call. We get on the phone, my VA will, so here's how our funnel works. So number one is we filter, we qualify the lead, making sure that, hey, they want to sell their house, there's motivation, and that sets an appointment for my purchase manager, which is, the closer. They call back, they negotiate with the seller. We lock that property up under contract. Typically, we lock it up for 30 to 60 days. And all it costs us is about, every single contract, we put $250 earnest money deposit. That's how we secure the contract. Once they sign the purchase and sell contract, it gives us the right now to sell it. Okay, so we got 30 to 60 days to find ourselves a buyer. And remember, it only costs us $250 to do this. It could be as little as $10. Your earnest money deposit can be as little as $10. And then after that, we go find our buyers. So let's just say we got on a contract for $200,000, Brad. We found a buyer, and there's many places you can find your cash buyer. We call them cash buyer because it has to be a cash transaction because we want it to close quick.
There we go.
Bank financing, it takes 45, 60 days to close. So it needs to be a cash transaction. Whether the cash buyer getting hard money, private money, their own cash, it doesn't matter. Okay, but typically the closing can be as quick as 3 days, 7 days. Majority of the time, probably around 15 days. Found the cash buyer. We got in a contract for $200,000. Let's just say we're going to sell to them for $225,000. So we have the buyer sign what's called an assignment agreement. It's a one-page agreement. They sign it. They're going to step into our shoes to buy this property for $225,000. We take the purchase and sale contract, the assignment contract. We send it to a local title company. They do the rest of the paperwork. They call the buyer up and say, hey, verify all the information, yada, yada. They wire in the $225,000. $200,000 goes to the seller. We get the $25K.
Easy. Love
it. Just like that.
Beautiful. That's great. I can't move to social without asking this because you run the whole thing with a bunch of VAs.
All VAs.
So that's interesting too.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a bunch of questions around that.
Sure.
But I want to know the numbers of how you assess properties because all of my real estate, I'm super active in real estate, but it's all location based. So proximity of where things are, the adage with real estate is location, 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 right?
I agree.
And, but it depends on what kind of real estate you're doing.
Sure.
So how do you adequately assess a property, not knowing the area? And what's the math? How much margin has to be there for what you're looking for? Like, how do you create a box for yourself to buy in?
I mean, it really comes down to if what you want to do. Right? Do you want to wholesale? You want to fix and flip it? Or do you want to keep it as a rental? So typically for me now, I don't do fix and flip anymore. So when a deal comes to my table, there's only two ways I look at it. Wholesale or do I buy in whole? If I buy in whole, then I'm going to look at location. Got to be in a good location. Got to be in at least a B neighborhood. I don't want it in the war zone. I don't want to buy in an area where I can buy a duplex for freaking $30,000. Dude, you're going to have more headaches than the 30. It's going to bring you $100,000 headaches, dude.
I have played that game and it definitely has.
Like all these people that tells me that they bond so cheap and they cash flow, bro. Don't even tell me. I know the stress, the headaches that you're going through, okay? So don't even try to play that game. So for me, if I was to hold it, it got to be in a B neighborhood or better. But if I was just looking at wholesale, I don't care where it's at. I just need to get it lower than what it's supposed to be. So when we analyze the deal, typically there's a formula when it comes to wholesaling, Brad. So we take the ARV, which is after repair value. What does the property worth after fix up? We automatically, I'll take 30% off. So let's just say it's $100K. I'll take 30% off. Now I'm at $70,000. Let's just say it takes about $10,000 or $20,000 to repair. Let's just say it takes $10K to rehab the property. Now we're down at $60,000. So I know an investor, a house flipper, would buy this thing, dude, $60,000 all day long in my market. So it comes down to you got to know your market and you got to know your buyer. And it takes time to kind of, to know that experience, right? And you can't buy experience. So I know they're going to buy for $60K. Anything that I get under $60K is mine to keep. I used to be okay with making $5,000. Not anymore. For me now, I'd rather get quality over quantity. I'd rather have bigger spread than little baby money. So for me, every single offer we put in, we typically want to make at least $20,000 as our negotiating. Now, once we lock it up and we know we might make $20,000, but nothing really true until it go to closing. Until you get that check in your hand, man, that deal can blow up on the day of closing. Happens many times. If you do enough transaction, dude, it will happen. So we will only make less when it's already in contract. So let's just say when you're already in contract, I'm like, hey, I'm potentially going to make 20K on this deal. We fish it out to the buyer. Buyer came back, and then the renegotiating start. At this time, Brad, I just want to get the deal done for the seller. So even if I make 1,000 on the deal, I'll get it done. But I would never start my offer of just like, oh, I just want 1,000. I just want 5,000. I used to do that, but I don't. The hardest time is it's afraid to make the lowball offer.
Yeah.
They're embarrassed, they're shy, they're feared, they're scared. They're like, oh my God, I don't want to piss the seller off. Dude, you never know until you ask. And and my mentor tells me this, if you're not embarrassed about your offer, you probably offer too high, bro.
and if they say yes right away, you probably didn't go low enough.
Correct. And the thing is, dude, it takes the same amount of work to make a $5,000 deal and a $25,000. It's the same transaction. But the thing is, if you're making 5,000, you have to do 5 of them to make 25K.
Yeah.
For me, I just toss out all the 5K. I just focus on one. You do more work than I am, but I just close one deal, less work, and I make just as much.
And so you just illustrated why realtors are not worth shit. Because, and I know I'm pissing off a lot of realtors right now.
Yeah, you will.
And I'm very vocal about this all the time. But like, look, you should not get paid a percentage of the sale. It does not take 10 times the effort to sell a $10 million house versus a $1 million house. Fuck you. It should be a flat fee on that shit. Yeah. Because of your point. Anyway, so I digress. Let's go to social, man. So that's gonna go viral right there, bro. If you want a viral video, fuck you, realtor. You ain't getting 3%, motherfucker. You're getting $200. I'm fine paying more, but it should not be a percentage, man. No, I hear you. A percentage. I hear you. So you have a couple big social channels. I do. So you've got I think like 600,000 people on Insta right now. You've got almost 500,000 subs on YouTube. Yep. Insta is pretty easy to game these days. And you can usually check people's engagement and see if it's a game channel or not. Yep. YouTube is harder to game. For sure. So as somebody that has almost 500,000 subs on YouTube, what is the biggest mistake that people make when they're trying to grow a YouTube channel? I think the biggest mistake that people trying to make when they grow the YouTube, number one is consistency, impatient, comparison. And I think that majority of the people, because when you start social media, everybody has an intention. What they want to do is to make money from it. It's the reason why they haven't blow up, because they're not focused on providing value. They're focused on monetize. And that's where you lose the game. And dude, Brad, there's so many coaches that I talk to. I look at their thing, I'll be like, dude, that's why you only have 5,000 followers, bro. Dude, every day you're freaking asking. You're pitching, bro. Come on, man. Shit, bro. Like realtor. Unbelievable, bro. Man, list your house with me. Why would I, bro? Why would I list your house with me? What value have you? You see, people only do business with people they like and they trust. All you do is tell me to list shit with you, dude. Why would I list with you? I could list with Johnny Bob, whatever it is. You see, so you need to think of a place where you got to provide value, like Gary Vee said, like Alex and Mosey, same thing. Dude, they provide a massive amount of value. And so for me, Brad, I tell people, if you can delay the monetization, the longer, the better. Because when you ask, I almost can guarantee you make more money than you were just pitching along the way. And now people will be like, hey, I have all of that already. I'm patient. I don't need to pitch. I'm ready to go. Execution. Execution. One, probably don't put in enough rep. Like, bro, you're going to suck on your first video. My first YouTube video, Brad, I couldn't even go back to watch it. I just want to delete that month. I just want to delete it. I was like, dude, but I always say I left it up just because so I can look back and see where I started. Love it. But your first video, dude, is going to suck. And I think Mr. B said this the best. Until you have created 100 video, don't worry about the view. Don't worry about the subscribe, man. You're going to suck for the first 100. Like, nobody's going to watch it. He said, just do it. But she said the key here is you need to not just post. Dude, you really need to stay on top of your shit. You need to look at your video. You need to analyze it. Hey, I'm getting 5 views. Hey, the comment that comes in, what do people say about this? Why does one get more views than this, right? And you need to start getting better. Watching, and also too, is find someone who's in your industry and see what they're doing. So the way that you see, because I think with the time span on social media, especially short form,
Brad, you got to have a good hook. So don't start by, hey, my name is Khang. Like, nobody care about your name, bro. Hey, let me show you how to make 25K a month. Okay, I see you, bro. Okay, show me. And I think the thing, Brad, is I think a lot of people need to is, I think when you first started out, nobody knows who you are. You're a nobody. So I think you need to build up a lot of credibility. So for people to listen, like, why would I listen to Brad? Oh, easy pay direct. Dude, the guy's a baller. Let's go, right? So I think a lot of times where I talk to some coaches and they're like, well, Khang, I don't want to talk about number, man. I'm private. Dude, if you decide you want to play social media game, there's nothing private, bro.
Yeah.
There's nothing private. Like, I don't know about you guys who's watching this, but Brad, when I first started my journey and I want to get rich, I get inspired by the car. I get inspired by the freaking vacation trip. I get inspired by the lifestyle, by the money that they make. So I like to describe it like this, Brad. You tell me, I want to get a six-pack. You tell me you're going to show me how to get a six-pack. I never see your six-pack, bro.
Yeah.
How do I know that you have a six-pack? How do I know that I'm following the right guy to get the same results? Because I want to get your results. That's why I follow you.
Yep.
But you never show me, bro. Dude, I'm just going to go follow the other cat who actually shows me and I can see it. Because a lot of times, dude, seeing is believing. So I think first, if you want people to listen, you just got to own the authority. For example, hey, dude, I'm Bob. I've done 300 deals already. Here is my deals. Here's how much I make.
Yeah.
Dude, you just got to own it. And people will be like, okay, I should listen to this cat. And then after that, dude, I think when you first start out, you gotta prove yourself a lot on social media. You gotta put a lot, dude, you gotta own the space, have the authority in the space by showing them what you have done, what you have accomplished. I don't care if you feel uncomfortable, if you want to play the social media game, it's just how it is. So for me, I want to see your app. Like, you don't have to flex all the time, but dude, once in a while, bro, lift up your shirt. Let me see that shit, bro, right? Let me know that you're real.
Yeah.
And then all you need to do is, I would say, Brad, spend the first year, just provide value. Don't think about monetize. Don't think about trying to build a funnel. Don't think about any of that. Just give a free value. And I can almost guarantee you build up such a big following, you'll be like, damn.
Tell me about like content structure.
Yep.
How much do you do that are really short form?
Yep.
You know, shorts, reels, etc.,
Yep.
versus like the 3 to 5 minute
Yep.
versus 15 minute
Yep.
versus like full tilt long form shit.
Yep. So, man, I mean, my whole thing has changed a lot, Brad. So now with AI, we use this an app called Captions. We take the long YouTube video, you post in the link, you click a button. Dude, it can chop you up a 30-second, a 15-second, a 90-second, whatever it is, however long you want, right? And so from now on, we just take a YouTube long. So I typically try to pump out at least 3 long YouTube video a week. So I typically do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Friday's like, could be a Q&A, could be a cold call role play. Wednesday could be whatever it is. I analyze a deal. Monday could be, whatever it is. But 3 long video on YouTube. And then I'll take that, I'll upload into that captions, and then it chops up, and then I start posting shorts. But then I start to realize too is do you
modify those shorts at all, or do they come straight out of the AI engine?
You know what? I actually play with it. So I'll watch it. Okay, I'll be like, okay, it's good. It got a good hook. Okay, there's actually value in it. I'm not just bullshit. If there's value in it, okay, boom. But I'll actually watch every single one of them and analyze it before I post it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll take 2 of them and then I'll clip them up. I'll chop them up. And then I'll mix them together.
Yeah. See, I think that's a really important point because we're living in this world of AI, right? And we're really on the front end of AI doing stuff.
Sure.
But sometimes it just kind of fucking sucks.
Dude, Brad, I absolutely agree with you. People who want it easy, who think AI, dude, bro, you ain't gonna build no brand, bro.
Yeah. So I like to hear that and clarify that because
for sure.
you know that 15 people are gonna hear this and just post a bunch of bullshit.
Yep.
And back to your other point is the hook there? Is the value there
Correct.
in the clip?
Yep.
Is it providing any value?
Correct.
Where does social content fit into the business model of wholesaling or selling education?
I love it. So I don't care what business you're in. I think most small business owner, your guys' biggest issue is that nobody knows about you. You don't know how to get attention. Like Uncle G and everybody said it, dude, attention is the new currency. Whoever gets the most attention, that's the one that's going to win. And the best way to do that is social media. It's free to post. So what we do is, Brad, we take all of our short form, and then we start direct it back over to YouTube long form. Because I realized that the more people who spend time watching you, they get to know you more, who you are. Because once again, people do business with people they like and they trust. Why would I pick, because there's so much competition. Why would I pick, Brad over this cat? Why would I pick Khang over this guy who's doing the same? Because, dude, I've been following Brad for a while. I love him. I vibe with the guy. We have similarities. Mm-hmm. So that way we build that connection. I'll be like, dude, if I'm going to get a mentor, that's the cat that I want. And I think that's how a brand, a personal brand really outbeats everything else. And how it fits into everything, Brad, it's like, people always talk about, millionaires have 7 streams of income, and that's all false. Okay? I don't know about everybody else, but I know every self-made millionaire that I know, and for me as well, they all became a millionaire with 1 stream of income. And after that, they start to build other stream of income because now they got the money to start leveraging, hiring people. They start to, building other things. But I think the best way to actually build multiple streams of income in today's world, Brad. So let's just say you're a landscaper. Okay, so let's just say you're doing landscaping. And then all of a sudden you'd be like, yep, I'm making $1 million from my landscaping and now I just want to branch off and do other business. The worstest move. And let me tell you why it's the worst move. Because when let's just say you'd be like, oh, I'm a landscaper now, I want to build, let's just say you want to go into Amazon dropshipping. Well, you know nothing about Amazon dropshipping. So you start at ground zero. Imagine, just think about this, man. Think about how hard it is for you when you first start your business to build it to where it is today. Dude, it takes time because you have to learn everything new. But the best way to get multiple stream income, Brad, is you just need to teach people to do what you do. And that's where a personal brand came in. And then you open up to affiliate. Now, dude, there will be multiple doors open up to you. You can do affiliate marketing. You can start selling courses, coaching, consulting, sponsorship. I know that Pineda has a big podcast. People pay him to get onto his podcast. I mean, there's much more opportunity and you're not doing anything different. You're just teaching people what you already done, what you're already good at. So basically, kind of documenting your landscaping business journey, whatever it is. So it's just much easier, less resistant. And it'll open up so much door. And that's how you're going to get from $1 million to multiple millions, in my personal opinion.
Yeah. So on the one hand, it's that your social is about building the personal brand. So you have sort of the billboard effect, right? Mm-hmm. People can just see you, get to know you. You're out there.
Right.
Do you have direct CTAs in your social content? Is it just link in bio? Yep. Is it link in the description in YouTube? Yep. How is it actually routing to sell shit, if it is at all?
Yeah, absolutely, Brad. So once again, when you get to a certain point where you build enough followers, you provide enough value, and then you'll be like, hey, let's start monetizing. So a lot of times the call to action, I don't think like, hey, link to bio is a good one. Most people don't go. But if you tell them to DM, and let me tell you why. So what I've just recently figured out about Instagram, Brad, and you can try it on your Instagram, and I almost can guarantee you it will blow up your view and your engagement. So what I do now, Brad, is I will direct everybody back to my YouTube. So what I do is I will tell my girl to create an auto respawn on YouTube. So I'll be like, hey, take this video that we just created, set up a keyword, let's just say YouTube 1. So when people comment the word, and then I'll be like, hey, DM me the word YouTube 1. So the more engagement, the more Instagram will push that video out. Now you're not selling anything. You're not pitching them to a sell. You're not saying, hey, I'm going to coach you, mentor you. You push them now to your YouTube. It's going to help increase your YouTube view, and they get to spend more time with you, and then you can do your call to action on YouTube.
So your DM, okay, so walk me through that again.
Yep.
So you're in your Insta post, you're saying comment below.
Even on story.
Okay.
So we set up, so we have mini chat, right, Brad? You probably know what it is already. Yeah. Okay. So we set up the keyword for YouTube 1. This is the video I want them to watch on YouTube. So before that, we would have sent them over to a landing page of a 15-minute VSL, right? A sales page. But I don't do that anymore. I figured this is a way better conversion for us as turning the actual people who view turn into a student. And it helps grow our YouTube. It helps grow Instagram because Instagram wants engagement. So every single time they DM you or they comment the word, whatever it is, it keep on pushing your video out. You send them over to YouTube and then you do the call to action in your YouTube. So I would comment the word YouTube 1 or DM me the word YouTube 1 and then you automatically DM them the link to that YouTube video that they can go watch.
Love it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. That's super helpful.
Brad, last time I did that, like my story has never gone up to like 80,000 or 100,000 views on my story. Now that's all we do. I don't say click the link anymore, because when they click the link, they exit out. Yeah. But when they DM, it just gets that engagement going.
Sick.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really smart. Awesome. King Khang, I've got a million other questions, but we also have a lunch downstairs.
Sure.
Where do you want to point people?
Well, I mean, you can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, wherever it is. Just go to @RealKingKhang.
Yeah.
Khang, I say Khang, not like Donkey Kong.
I love it, man. It's been a blast. Thanks for carving out time.
Brad, it's such an honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, man.